It may be pointed out here that this council had certain far-reaching consequences. Out of the first 5 charges leveled against Anand, 2 related to the so-called favoritism shown by Anand to women. It appears that there was a strong lobby within the Sangh which was anti-women, and at the first opportunity that came their way, they seem to have berated Anand for having championed their cause. Considering the growing rigidity of the Sangha with the passage of time against women, clearly points to the fact that anti-women elements within the Sangha were growing stronger by the day. The council began with Mahakassap questioning Upali on the Vinaya, following a procedure as to where, concerning whom, in regard to what matter was a particular rule of the Vinaya along with the sub-rule was formulated. The whole of the Vinaya text is said to have been agreed upon at this council. A specimen of these questions was like this. Venerable Upali, where was the first project promulgated? Upali, in Vaishali, sir. Concerning whom was it spoken? Upali, concerning Sudin, the son of Kalanda. In regard to what matter? Upali, sexual intercourse. Thus did the Venerable Mahakassap question the Venerable Upali as to the matter, as to the occasion, as to the individual concerned, as to the principal rule, as to the sub-rule, as to who would be guilty, and as to who would be innocent of the first prajika. Hence, the Vinaya text was agreed upon at the council. After the Vinaya was formulated, the Dharma, Pali Dhamma, was prepared. The subject matter of the Sutta Pitaka in all the 5 Nikayas was formulated as questions for Anand, who gave appropriate answers. These questions followed the lines adopted in those on the Vinaya, the occasion of the sermons, and the person or persons with reference to whom they were given. The answers given by Anand settled the corpus of the Sutta Pitaka. Puran, a bhikshu who had been travelling, arrived at Rajgriha as the council is concluding its business. He is invited to become one with the Sangiti, but refuses, stating that though the Dharma and the Vinaya had been well chanted by them, he proposed to retain the Dharma in his memory the way he had heard the Dharma from the Master himself. This was a dangerous signal for the Sangha. The attitude of exclusiveness displayed by Puran and the irreverent conduct of Subhadra may perhaps be regarded as typical of a large section of the monks. Anand relates that the Buddha declared that after his death, the Brahmadanda, that is total social ostracism, was to be imposed on a monk of Kaushambi named Chand or Chan, whose violent and irritable nature troubled the community. So at the end of the council, Anand was sent to notify him in the name of the assembly that the punishment of Brahmadanda was imposed on him. When Anand had explained to him what Brahmadanda consisted of, he was struck with intense remorse and sorrow, as a result of which he became an Arhant. Consequently, he was cleansed of all his faults and the punishment automatically losing its meaning and application because he had become an Arhanta now. Whereas according to the Thervadin, Mahasangik and Mahishasaka accounts, the Vinaya and the Sutra Pitaka were recited at the first council. The Dharmaguptak Sarvastivadin and Hamvat accounts mention that all the three Pitakas were recited at the first council. It appears that it would have been impossible to think that even two huge parts of the Tripitak, that is Sutta Pitak and the Vinaya Pitak, were finally composed and settled within a short period of 2 or 3 months. Further, there is no reason to hypothesize that the Abhidharma, Abhidham in Pali, formed part of the proceedings that took place at the first council. Interestingly, there was hardly any disagreement over doctrinal matters in the council, and most of the matters relating to the Vinaya and the Dharma were settled without any dispute. Therefore, if canonical texts were recited at the first council, they were definitely not identical to the ones that we have now, because the canons of the various schools show considerable discrepancies. In fact, it would be impossible to imagine that all those canons were fixed at such an early time as the first council.